Okay.
I'm going to call the Finance, Insurance, and Personnel meeting to order. Roll call.
Cool here.
We're here.
Thomas here.
Hustling.
Approval of the meeting minutes from March 20th.
Operation to hunt. But this time,
Mute. Then what do you need help with? Whatever what it's supposed to be on. Four?
Cool will make a motion to approve the minutes from March 20th.
Where will second?
I have a motion from Cool, second by Ware, to approve the meeting minutes from March 20th. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Well, it'll work on the other ones.
Anyone for public
Doesn't
comment?
move the input.
Comment on an item not on the agenda.
Yeah, this one says months.
Rolling task list. You should have in your packet
Yeah.
a rolling task list that Lana put together.
Oh, and other people
Yeah,
added
I'm
stuff,
sure
so which is good.
Nice.
This is from Lance.
This is,
I think it looks very good. I do have some
Yeah.
questions on it.
So when did you actually want to take these issues up? You got a lot.
Going to be for Charlie to decide.
Okay, so we'll have this discussion.
I was thinking as long as we have something this, if we look at the end, future agenda items, and
Okay.
if there's things we can add to whittle it down.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yep.
okay.
One question I've got is number 7.
Sure.
Yep.
Is this the
That's the interfund.
interfunds?
Yeah.
Don't
so-
we need a motion to zero that
Yeah,
out?
well,
Well, and that's just it. You
Yeah.
told her to zero out, she zeroed it out, and I told her.
I
to
took
No, it
it
has
out.
to come to council. It always
yeah,
has.
well, I took it wrong.
Correct, she
So-
took it wrong.
Okay.
So, but either way, it's not a write-off per se. All it was done was clear the slate, basically, and we can still revisit those things. The only thing is that I'll have to work with
Joy.
utility
Yes.
to get that, and obviously our communication isn't as great, but only way we're gonna reconcile this is that we communicate with it, so.
This has been going on since 19.
That or
so-
just,
I think 22, and talking to the auditors was the big thing, because I didn't start till the end of the year. We're pretty sure it's some of the Kunkel bills, you know, that we, because again, there was 4 or 5 months before I started and things weren't done, you know, maybe billed out and Lois was helping and
Right.
the stuff wasn't, whatever, it's nobody's
okay, you
fault, but I
said
think
Mike
we
was
can do
working
that.
on this before you even came, a year before you came.
What was that, 22 was
22 was when he left.
was it
Mike
Jefferson
left.
Street and
Yeah.
Wessinger?
I think it was Jefferson, yeah.
I thought it went before 22. I heard it went
I
back
think
as
it
far
was.
as 7 years.
Well, and there's some that, yeah, that they were
Mike
able to
Paul.
reconcile a running balance, so.
What'd you say,
Pardon,
Mike?
Mike Walla couldn't find it when he worked here.
So Mike was already looking for it and he couldn't find it.
But what, so
The
Lana
22
needs to get the number, what it was, and if her and Joy can figure it out, fine. Richard's suggestion was we just split it in half and be done with it. But she wrote it off because she thought that's what you told
Yeah,
her to
yeah,
do. Right,
and it's
I know
really,
it's gotta come here.
it's
It's
really
gotta come
not.
to, it has to come to
yeah,
finance.
And it's not really, it's still there.
That's
We
still
can
there
still
because
do
it hasn't gone through council or
Right,
finance.
so it's still there, but 22, I think, can be
Figured out?
figured out.
Okay.
I think
So
going
I
back
think,
after that is gonna be.
yeah, the rest, it may be
Is it
difficult,
worth
but I
taking
think
the time
22
to-
can, and I think it's that gap from when Mike left and I started, and things just, I'm sure it's in that period of time. So that'll be a project, so, yeah. So I'll reach out to Joy and try to communicate, like, what was paid, so. But I think we can figure that one out.
Do you have an amount?
I think it was 11,000.
In 22?
Mm-hmm. I sent you the email on it, I think, but yeah, it was like 11,000 something, that there was the discrepancy. So, what we show and that, and it might have been as simple as we showed it was for you and the invoice didn't go out, I mean, it could be as simple as that. So we'll have to go through it.
Very good, thank you.
We'll get it figured out.
New business, March 2025 financials, we can get them all as one item.
Cool motion to accept the March 25 financial statements as listed in the agenda.
Wyatt will second.
You have a motion from Cool, second by Wyatt, to recommend the council approval of the March 2025 financial statements. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Resolution 2025-22, approving the fire department DNR grant. Chad, did you want to take that?
It's in your folders, the half price for getting the equipment for drip torches, some drip torches, some hard suction hose, and so on and so forth for the equipment that's
I don't
aged
have
out.
anything attached to it. Was there more to the document?
No, this is the grant that they're applying for.
Oh,
It's just the cost of what that half would be for the DNR.
But you already got the grant, didn't you? Were you awarding it, or are you just now applying?
We were asking for it, yes.
Oh,
We were
you're
asking for
applying.
the application. yes.
Okay. Okay, for some reason I thought this was, that you already got it.
No.
Okay,
They're asking approval to
Sure.
to
Yeah.
apply for the grant.
Yeah, torches, hard suction, and
Indian packs, some of the pumps for our Indian packs, so on and so forth. No, there wasn't any PPE on this one.
it says the grant is for new equipment and PPE, so there is no PPE.
We didn't apply for any of that.
But the new equipment, I'm sorry, is for a specific vehicle or just in the?
wildland.
Wildland firefighter.
Wildland firefighting.
Yeah.
Or wildland.
Wild land, you said?
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And the money's coming from, just your,
Would come out of our general equipment.
okay. Okay. All right. Do we have, is this replacing stuff we already have by any chance, or this new stuff? Things-
It's replacing.
Replacement,
Yep.
okay. Okay.
What's your pleasure, gentlemen?
I just waiting to see if Charlie's got any more.
Can you not,
Okay.
you want a motion or?
Yeah. I'll move to approve resolution. We can do that here, can't we? Or is it-
No, it's just for
Send it out.
council.
Yeah.
I'll recommend approval to council of resolution number 2025-22, grant application for new equipment for the fire department for about $2,400, $2,500.
You have a motion from Wyatt and a second by Cool to recommend the council approval of resolution 2025-22, approving the fire department DNR, for the fire department to apply for the DNR grant to update old equipment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And now the biggie. Resolution 2025-18, accepting the bid from Dorner Incorporated for the Hendricks Street Reconstruction and DPW parking lots. Apparently, we are a little bit short.
It's not that that we're short. I don't understand where that comment came from.
That our funding is about $1 million. That came in about $1 million over what was budgeted.
Well, the 2023 quote was definitely closer than the 2024 quote, but it really wasn't. There's been a lot of changes that happened during the 5 years that we've been doing this. So we've added 2 sidewalks, I only wanted 1. We put the sewer deeper. We added, what else did we add? What else did we add? There was changes all along the way. I mean, we had how many meetings on it?
I mean, originally 5 years when we started, we didn't have that extension of the 333 Portland Road.
But that's by a grant though.
Yeah,
We
I
got
understand.
$450 for that.
Yep.
So that's in there.
It's expensive, but I mean, if you compare the unit prices from both projects, I mean, asphalt prices is from Indian Hills and this are the same, they're close. I mean, the concrete's close, it's competitive, it's just a lot of money.
Barry did it with Ben, ran the numbers, he said it's right on target. So it
With the
is-
numbers that Ben had. I guess part of, in our council packet, we're looking at bids from 2022. We're not even seeing anything current.
What bids are you talking about?
Estimate.
Estimates, excuse me.
From 20, how did the 2022 estimate get in there?
It's what's in there.
Shouldn't be. At a minimum, it should have been the 2024, which was lower than the 2023. This is much closer to the 23 estimate than the 24. I don't know why some of the numbers that were in there changed.
Looking at it with the utilities portion, I mean, the city's looking at 1.2 probably, well, we have wheel tax and other things that we probably did look at 5 years ago to be applied here,
It was always intended,
which is
yes.
going to help, because we didn't spend it every year.
Right, we got a lot
We
of it.
saved it up,
Right.
so that's gonna come to bear, so.
Without
1.2
borrowing,
would
we've
be
got
much
about-
more than any other street project that we've been doing every
Right.
year, so.
Before we completely split it up further with the utilities, because it's a third of it goes to the utilities on a lot of the asphalt, the grading and all that, and we went through all of this again on the spreadsheet, which you have in here.
The bid result.
Yes, so we went through all of that, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 line items
That will be,
that will be split in a third to the utility and the rest to us. And some of these silly traffic signs, like a $2,500 or $2,000 USDA sign, which is absolutely insane, but we have to do it. So there's an awful lot.
I think
in there.
I think what they did is that's kind of a slush or,
Yeah.
they
Could
put
be.
that in there, so.
And we all know that they bid high, and a lot of it is gonna depend on what all happens. Like there's a slurry in there to fill in the storm sewer that we can't move, but some of it they will be able to move, and they won't have to fill it in. But they put the whole thing in there because they won't know until they get in the road. So right now, even without splitting everything out completely into the thirds, we're at 1.1.
For the city.
Yeah. And $450,000 of that is part of a grant. The numbers that I put in there for the bid, just with .66 asphalt was 1.5. Take the asphalt, take the grant out and it's 1.1. And we still have more to give back over to the utilities. So we're looking at $1 million. Which now you have a choice of, do you want to get rid of some of the streets? They've already started chopping down the trees. Chad and I talked about it again today after you and I talked. Looking at the way we're doing the sidewalks. I mean, I only ever wanted it on the one side, but I got overridden on that. You guys wanted it on both, but we could take, with the trees and some of the sidewalk out, $35,000, we can cut right out of it. So it's up to you how you want to do this. We can move up to $260,000 without having to rebid it. So the road project is the road project. And we have the DPW parking lot in there as well.
Correct.
And we threw that out because we were waiting for a street project.
Correct.
to get
Which
done.
we could have done that a long time ago, but we're, like you said, waiting for the street project.
I didn't want to put it in a parking lot and have it ripped back out because it was
Right.
road.
Aprons and approaches and all that, so there's multiple things in here. His parking lot, multiple sidewalks, and entrance to 333.
Now, this doesn't include the sidewalk on Lum or Henry.
No, that's a
That's
whole
not-
separate one, you guys already
Right.
approved that. That was a separate bid for 2 sidewalks and Indian Hills. To do that. That one's been approved.
That was a different project.
Yes.
Correct. This one is strictly Hendricks, 333, and the DPW parking lot. So it's morphed over the years. It never used to be the parking lot.
It's gonna be more, I mean, what isn't more these days, and
Correct.
we just have to be prepared to borrow more if we can't cover it.
I mean, where
Well,
was it
we're
coming
definitely
that we were
gonna
$1 million
borrow
short?
What's that?
That was $1 million difference this came out of.
The bids came back higher,
Right.
significantly higher, but after doing the math, I think it,
Because city's got budgeted 1.3. Doing the state aid, LRIP, state aid, GTA, the wheel tax. The money that is going from debt for the DPW parking lot. We had 1.3 already budgeted for that portion. And you're saying the 1.3 or 1.4 is the utilities?
not the whole amount of it, but
600.
In that
62,
neighborhood.
I think it was.
How much of that was yours then, Barry?
Well, depends how they split the
The
stuff
street.
out and hand it to the utility. I think it came in at,
I have a note from 662 to, for you, when we were talking
for
about,
sewer or water, or both?
no, just sanitary.
That's sanitary. that's
Just
water.
sewer.
Oh, I'm sorry, water was 313.
It should have been right around $1 million for,
I got you down at
Both.
1,011,000.
So then it's not that
Yeah.
much higher.
So,
No.
the-
It's not.
I wrote down what he said,
after we
those were
start
just
looking at it, it's like,
estimates.
kind of scared us at first, but there's a
Well,
lot.
when that came in, that it was $1 million higher than what we were budgeted, that gives you a little,
It does.
but the 300,000 is, I'm not worried about that.
So,
I don't think it's gonna be as
Yeah.
high.
No.
I think there's gonna be room there.
Long-term benefits probably worth it.
yeah,
Well, I think we gotta do it anyhow, right?
Correct.
timing indicates we should do it now.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We can't push it off.
No, we have too many other things that pushing it off is not gonna benefit.
Then it's gonna have to come out of general obligation debt, the remainder. Are we in agreement with that?
That we have to go out for debt?
Yeah,
Yeah,
which I do.
Yeah.
The rest of it out of general obligation
Right.
debt, yeah.
yeah.
First 59.
Yeah, and it's not a lot, plus we have more debt that's gonna be dropping off over the years.
What, 26?
We got, the first one's dropping off in 28, second one's dropping off in 29, the third one's dropping off in 2030. So we're just doing this instead of doing this and then
Right.
that, which is exactly what Ellers, which is normal school board, we do that all the time too. You don't wanna keep doing
I
that.
don't wanna talk about the school board.
You want, I know, it's a sore subject for all of us, but it's what it is.
I don't wanna do what they do at all.
No,
No, we're not.
no. We're just trying to maintain things, and when we get to the end of the thing, I'll talk about another meeting we had. Future agenda items and announcements, I don't need to do it right now, since we're on this. So yeah, it looks bad, but over the course of 5 years and the multiple times we kept re-estimating all of this,
I guess what's frustrating is we don't have those numbers in the packet. We've got numbers from
I don't
2022.
understand how 2022,
That's the one that was sent to me.
It's in the council packet.
Well,
like last month or last meeting?
No, today's.
cost estimates are just.
In 2022, and I'm going, those are 3 years old, like Richard pointed out. Why are we getting those instead of the more current ones? Right
Oh,
there.
this one. Oh, that, I'm not even sure exactly why that was in there. That was sent to us from Joy. This is Joy's. This is Joy's number.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
those-
it's dated.
Yeah, this is
wish we had more
Utilities.
current ones. Okay.
Yeah, well, I can get you all that, I got 'em.
Note to self is, yeah,
Yeah, that's the utility.
next time this would be nice to, when it gets to the council, to have it broke out like this, that would be nice to be able to see
Yes, but more current numbers.
that. Yes,
The reason that
Could
is
be a little
in
bit
there,
more or
because
less.
when we started finalizing all of this, and I had to keep signing documents, I needed to know what they submitted, what the utilities submitted to the USDA, and they did include, and that's when Chad and I were like, what do you mean we've already charged you a third of all the road projects? We did not do that on Jefferson Street, which is why that's now on our task list. Because we're like, okay, so we have to come up with a policy as a council, not just somebody behind a door that knew about it. We need to know as a council, how do we want to do this? All road projects are gonna have sewer, water, storm sewer, it's a combination. Are we going to charge the utilities for a portion of that? That's a ratepayer versus a taxpayer. Ultimately, they're about the same people, but there are different people in a rate versus a tax. So we have to come up with what policy we want to do. So that's why that was in there, because that's what Joy submitted to the USDA. But yes, you should have also had the other one in there.
That would have been helpful.
Yeah, and we've had them over the years. I think they were at the Public Works multiple times, because that's generally where this starts at, was a part of the DPW meetings.
Okay.
So
is
we'll
the,
get better at it.
do we know if engineering is close?
Engineering, we've had those documents for years, and so what I told Mitch, now that this is done, once this is approved, utilities will have theirs, we'll have ours, everybody's gonna have their signed contract, so we know. And but we've been paying on this for years already. So a lot of that $80,000 worth of engineering, that's already been paid for over the years. So we don't have that that's been taken just out of general budgets, not necessarily this specific project.
Other comments? Thoughts?
We'll have to add construction observation as well as engineering, but maybe that's the same here.
I don't know what that means.
The
Okay.
field,
Pardon me?
I was gonna bring that up too, we're gonna have, there'll be some field inspection costs,
That's in the estimates we have.
but he'll sign, that's what he said the last meeting when we were here, that we gotta sign the contract with.
Because I want signed contracts by everyone. We never used to do that.
Right, absolutely.
But I did that on Jefferson Street, and then I want it for this one too.
Nope, absolutely.
Yep,
But you can divide out construction observation too, because that's easy.
Absolutely.
That's easy.
correct. And a lot of these things, but then, like I said, going forward, we need to make sure they understand, we understand how her and Joy deal with it, so everybody's on the same page, so that we don't get ourselves into these predicaments where we don't know where the money is and why we have outstanding things.
Right.
So, we'll clean up.
Makes perfect sense.
Yep.
Hopefully, we're not planning stuff 5 years out, but maybe we should.
This was a different one. Well,
Well,
we'll get to that.
Planning is fine, designing is
We'll
different.
get to that.
Some of the projects that are coming, exactly.
Yeah,
Yes.
you were in that meeting.
I'll make the motion to send resolution 2025-18 to council for approval.
But, go ahead, I'll talk when you get a second in there.
Funding, well, to be determined, I guess. You know, we're gonna go out for general debt, but
Whatever.
the numbers that are here are just for the bid, right?
Yes.
So this is just a bid letting, or the acceptance of the bid.
This will be
Correct.
acceptance of the bid.
I'll second.
Did you want to change anything?
No.
We're already chopping trees, are you gonna keep the sidewalks on both sides? You don't wanna reduce anything?
I thought we had discussed that, and it seemed like the balance of the way that people will walk to the park. A lot of the residential area
On the east.
is on the east, and there's sidewalk on the west. Well,
There's
up,
one
up
block.
to, right,
Yeah,
up to Cleveland, or down to Cleveland, however you look
Right.
at it.
Correct.
because Cleveland was sidewalk less at one time, so at least there's
sidewalk.
a sidewalk there.
Right.
But,
The reason I did not want it on the DPW side is just because they're big trucks, people coming in and out of there. They have two different driveways. That would just discourage somebody from walking there. And you really don't need it on two sides. It's a somewhat narrow road. And then you got Hurley's property, same thing, people kind of coming in and out of that thing.
more commercialized on one side than
Residential on the
residential on the other, so. And there's more room on the east side of
Residential.
Hendricks to run it.
My thought is that you're forcing people to cross the street then.
They're gonna have to cross
You're
it
gonna have to
anyway.
cross it anyway,
Yeah,
because we can't put the sidewalk all the way on the east side. We're putting it on the utility side.
Right?
Once it gets past Bishop Circle.
Okay, let's say you're walking from downtown,
Mm-hmm.
and then you go north on Hendricks. You either have to cross Hendricks somewhere.
Yep, you're gonna do it anyway.
twice,
You're
yeah.
gonna have to do it
Well,
anyway, right?
Depends on what happens after
I'm
Bishop Circle. but-
just simply asking the question because people were excited about the dollar amount. If you don't wanna change it, then we don't have to change it. They've chopped down trees, life goes on, we save some money there.
It's about $15,000 to remove that sidewalk from Cleveland Street to the ditch crossing on the west side.
Right. I was looking at it, I mean, running it down the east side makes the most sense. Looking at it, I just drove it before I came here too, just to run it again, so.
Well, I agree with that. I just think about the people coming from this side. From this side of Hendricks. Trying
From
to,
the west, yeah,
Yes.
they're either they're gonna have to cross the road at some point.
which is a greater area of the city.
And then they
Yeah.
get down by the utility and they gotta cross it
They
again.
gotta cross it.
They could do it there, they could do it at Cleveland, they could probably do it at East Madison as well. It's take your pick. They'll have more than one shot to do it, but.
Which side is it gonna be down by the utility? It's on the
The
west side.
west, on the utility
Yeah.
side.
Okay, so what you wanna do is eliminate the sidewalk on the west, down to the utility. So you wanna make people to cross over to the east side, walk down there, so we're crossing once already.
We're
Walk
dealing-
down there and then cross over again.
How else are you gonna do it? I
Right
guess,
now, they're walking in the road.
yeah, they're walking in the road,
That's the
but,
purpose of putting in sidewalk.
Correct.
right, but my understanding and looking at
That.
this with the creek that runs through there,
It's what, 35,000 for the sidewalk?
15 to eliminate it, 20.
It's 35,000 with the trees and the elimination of the sidewalk. The trees was 20 grand, we're cutting them down. So the question is right now, is $15,000 worth of sidewalk? In front of the DPW.
I mean, 15,000, say 15,000 on this bid, I don't see
I'm just
it.
wondering how much is gonna be used though,
Right.
because if they're gonna walk on the west side of that, of Hendricks down, okay, they're crossing Cleveland, so that's one cross already. I mean, they have
But a very low
two of them
volume
on the
road.
other side, they have Tremaine and Bishop at one point.
Hendricks Street is not necessarily a low volume road, especially when you're talking with the park. When you've got baseball games, everything else, that gets a lot of traffic. I mean, I'm not gonna say all the time, but it does pick up a lot of traffic.
Mhm.
He said they'll have to cross
Mhm.
Cleveland Street.
Right now.
And I said, that's a low volume
Oh,
road.
Cleveland,
Correct.
okay. I thought you were talking about Hendricks, my mistake.
No. Well, this is obviously Hendricks, and right now, the only sidewalk we have is right here on the west.
Correct.
And we added that on Cleveland. Then if you, what we're talking about is making sure we have a sidewalk, both of these will stay, but we're talking about keeping this all the way down to Bishop Circle. And you can see, this is all residential over here. So the DPW has two driveways here and another driveway here, plus this one goes into Hurley's parking lot. And because of this little water thing, this is actually gonna cost us a little bit to keep the sidewalk going to this whole way here. But we could stop the sidewalk here on Bishop as it's drawn now, and then literally be more of a kitty corner to come across here, so we're not dealing, and I don't think we configured that in there, Chad, when we were talking today, that we don't do anything over this waterway, we leave that be. That you could just literally have the sidewalk or the crosswalk here. So you're far enough away from this corner, which is a blind spot and kind of a pain in the butt. The water,
So
go ahead.
the sidewalk will come to the street at Bishop, so you would have to cross Bishop on the south side to get on back onto the sidewalk to go to the park.
There's a being on this side. And the road that's going in is gonna come off right about from here, kind of this way. So there's no sidewalk on this side at all. So the people that are gonna come out of here, once this ever gets built up, they too have to walk across the street to get there. No matter what, people have to walk across the street, because we can't do the sidewalk on this side.
It's too close to wetland and grade.
Well, yeah, too
The
close to
grade
wetland.
and everything
Yeah,
else.
great.
We'd have to try to fix the grade.
So it's better visibility walking on this side anyway.
Pretty much everybody does walk on that side.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
but then this would be curb, gutter, sidewalk, all on this side, which is all the residential, and you're kind of staying away from this kind of activity. But it's up to you. If you want to leave it, we leave it. But this too adds more cost because of this water right here.
You gotta cross on that, according to the plan, you're crossing the sidewalk over that culvert. I don't get this.
Is included in that 15 you gave me?
It just seems though that the school bus drops all the kids off right on that corner, you're gonna expect them to walk down the road to get to their houses.
Where do they drop off, Barry?
They, two spots along there, the bus stops and drops kids off for all, they don't go into the mobile home park.
Yeah.
They drop them off on the road there. If you don't have a sidewalk, then you're gonna expect them to walk down the road after the bus drops them off.
Okay.
That doesn't,
Which way is the bus traveling?
usually
This
it's
is where
coming
the
this
culvert
way,
is.
Going north?
so.
So you'd be crossing from here.
Could be not across.
Continuing the sidewalk.
I
So
think
we
so.
would
Chad might be able to
eliminate
answer it
the
better, but I always thought
culvert
they,
issue.
they were
I'm trying to think if I've ever seen the kids get dropped off there. I believe what you're saying.
They pick them up and drop them off.
Yeah,
Pick them
'cause-
up and drop them off right there, and now you're expecting them to
Yeah.
walk down the road.
Why do
Did
they
we
walk?
request that they pick
'Cause there's no
them
sidewalk.
up going the
There's no
other way?
sidewalk
and drop them
now.
off the other
Correct.
way? So they stay on one side of the street.
So where is the bus drop off?
I just know there's two spots in there, they stop and drop kids off.
Right on the end, right where your cursor is.
Cursor is? Okay, so they pick them up and drop them off, so they always getting off this way?
And they walk into the subdivision, or the mobile
But the
park.
bus door is always on, right into Bishop
I
versus,
think the door's on the west side.
On this side?
I think they're coming this way, I thought, but.
I think they pick up in the morning.
but
going
regardless, they
and-
put the stop sign on, people walk across the street all the
So they
time.
come through the park?
No,
No, I
They
wouldn't
don't
think
pick up
so.
there anymore?
nobody comes through the park, and no buses come through.
I wouldn't
Yeah,
think the
that's,
bus
they have to
would.
turn around someplace, so where are they turning
Probably
around?
drive
through the park.
back in and back out.
I would have to pay attention next week if they're still picking up. and
Yeah,
dropping
that's,
off
I
there.
can't remember either.
But regardless, it's no different than anywhere else. The bus stops, kids walk across the street to get into it.
I'm saying they can't get to anything on that whole strip there, the mobile homes that are there, you're expecting them to walk in the street again. Or they go on the sidewalk and come down in front of their house and cross the street.
We're not putting any sidewalks in here, we're only talking here.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that's private
That's
property
private
there.
property, yeah.
Yeah, they did last year, they haven't done it this
So I'm just questioning, do you want to do anything about that?
year. They did.
Because to me personally, I thought it was silly to put a sidewalk over here when it's gonna be curb and gutter, and plus we're making a nice little terrain here. Barry's already, you buried all your stuff now, right? Weren't you?
For electric?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Mhm. So it is up to you.
As we just approved a bid to add sidewalks where we didn't initially.
We gotta have at least one.
We
Yeah.
need one, without a doubt, we need one.
We've done it before, so.
Yes, absolutely need one. That's been a thorn, just like Lum, it's been a thorn in my side for years, watching all these people walking the road.
So are we creating a thorn in
I don't think
this?
so. We're 100% improving that street, both on sightline, safety, and just basically your cars, wear and tear and damn cars. That road is horrible. And I don't, honestly, I don't care, it's really what you want. I think it's a waste, but for $15,000, $20,000, if you want it there, it's just stuff Chad's gotta plow. Because you're not gonna shut that off in the winter.
No.
Once we put that in there, it's gonna stay there.
It's like 575 feet length
Yeah.
from Cleveland to the culvert. So I figured it's 4 foot wide culvert, or 4 foot wide sidewalk, 550 feet long, and multiply it by the $6.50 per square foot.
People on this side
It came
have
out
to
like
cross one way or the other. Either way, they gotta cross. It's 100% back, they gotta cross.
The whole council approved this plan before. I don't see any reason to change it now.
But that's usually what happens after bids come back too. You take a look at it.
Well, yeah.
And again, I'm not arguing anything. I am trying to save money too. If we don't need it, then don't waste our money.
So look at future growth, and we only have 2 ways into that park right now.
I'm pretty sure that's all you're ever gonna have. Well, maybe no, because you've got up by me.
Okay.
They have a third.
That may or may not
The one
happen.
way you have in the
Maybe
park
not
only
one
has
line.
one sidewalk, as it stands right now either, so.
Say that one more time?
One of the ways into the park right now is only
Only
has
one
one
sidewalk?
sidewalk.
I mean, can I add
Mill
something?
Street has one sidewalk.
That whole road's got to
I think no matter what you do, people are still going to walk
in the
on
road.
the, in the road.
In the road.
They are. I know
Happens
they
in
are.
Cleveland.
You're never going to eliminate that.
No, and you can't give them a ticket for now, you know, can't force them.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
We have no bike lane we put in there either. Stop it. Giving her a look.
Richard?
What is,
Yea or nay, don't care.
I don't,
what is the policy written?
but I reserve the right to say I told you so.
One way or the other.
Yep.
Well, of course, hindsight's 20/20.
I just don't know.
I thought
Our sidewalk
policy
policy is
was-
to put in sidewalks when we redo roads, if it makes sense. We're gonna have a conversation on Van Buren. Doesn't make sense to put 2 sidewalks there. People will have no front yard. That's a whole nother
I thought
conversation.
the
we're gonna
policy
have.
was to put sidewalk on both sides unless the terrain was such that
Correct.
you could only put it on one side.
Correct. That's basically what this is. You don't really need it on 2 sides. Because of the terrain, we can't do it on both sides. So no matter what, we're only doing it on one side, past Bishop. We're gonna have the same problem in 2027 for Van Buren Street. Same problem. Road's too narrow. Cleveland, we only put in one sidewalk. So we have precedence of only putting it on one side, but we also eliminated the fact that homeowners pay for it, it's all a tax thing. It
Yes.
isn't fair that the one side of the street has to pay for it and the other one doesn't. And they have to take care of it. Which I appreciate. So, just asking a question.
Looks like there is 4 foot sidewalk, 4 foot.
Don't know if there's any reason why you would want to wait. I mean, you can't really wait until construction starts because they have to know in advance what you're doing.
Yes, they do.
You could change order that
Right
out.
up against the fence.
To get rid of that sidewalk, yeah, that's an easy thing. We're already getting rid of the trees. Are we expecting them to tear out the stumps and all that, though?
Well, we started that project, we gotta finish it.
Okay then. Lots of wood chips.
So what's the pleasure, gentlemen? We have a motion, is there?
Do it in a second, yeah.
Do we have a second?
Yeah, that's why I didn't talk until you guys were done. Till you made the motion in the second, and then I was adding in more
I was
conversation.
writing it down, sorry.
So it's up to you if you want to change it. It very well could change that council too.
Yes. Maybe
We'll
that's
probably
where,
have this conversation.
maybe that's
again.
where it should happen.
And that's
So
fine
we're
with
not
me.
overstepping, but
It's not the worst idea to get a larger group opinion.
yeah.
Yep.
Fine with that. And that can be part of your motion to discuss it if you would like. If not, you just bring it up, or I'll bring it up.
Yeah, we can just bring it up, I
That's fine.
think.
Okay, works for me.
Okay,
Question?
you made the motion, correct?
Yes, you did.
Motion by Cool, second by Wired, to recommend the council approval of resolution 2025-18, accepting the bid from Donner for the Hendricks Street reconstruction and DPW parking. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, motion carried. Old business, fire department policies and procedures. As we are still in negotiations, I recommend that we,
Doesn't seem like there's anything we can,
No,
doesn't make any sense to continue
Doesn't
to
make
clean
any
that
sense.
up
Yeah.
until that's resolved.
we can
correct.
just defer this until
Defer
the
it.
union negotiation is done, so we can take it off of here,
That sounds
Yes.
like a great
I think
motion.
that's a great idea.
which
So
we
I
have
need
the
a
next
motion.
meeting next week.
Is there a motion to defer it until after union negotiations are complete?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Have a motion from Wired, second by Cool, to defer the fire department policies and procedures until union negotiations are complete. Future agenda items and announcements.
Question?
Oh, excuse me, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, motion carried. Future agenda items and announcements. Chuck Rowland, after the organizational meeting, will be the chairman of the committee. You have anything, Chuck?
Do you want to establish anything off your task list?
Yeah, I was
for
just
next
looking
meeting?
at the calendar, what next month brings.
I think it's probably a good time to go through a couple of these things.
Yeah.
Ellers will be doing the full presentation in May.
In May.
Yes.
So,
Jean, did I tell you the first meeting in, I think it's the first, because it's just going to council.
That would probably be better.
Yeah, I think.
I probably have it written on my calendar.
I'm sorry, it's gonna be in May, for
May.
sure.
May,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, May
I-
1st.
I'll double check that, but yes, it will be in May for sure. I just, for some reason, I can't remember the date.
that number one's gonna be a big one,
It is. Saying the two will go right along with it.
right?
We
But
should
two
probably-
could get done though. We could.
Oh,
produce
yeah,
the
that's just
policy.
policy, we can do that
We
one.
could produce the policy, maybe put that one on there and then we'll see how long the audit takes. And
But 3, really, we need to have a conversation on that so these guys know what's going on. Because at the moment, they want to keep that 3rd ambulance and finance never approved that.
Put that on there then too.
That's number 3 on this
Yep.
rolling task list. So you want 2 and 3 on the next
Mhm.
finance?
Anything to add there, Chad?
That would just be a great benefit. As far as, I don't know what the discussion was prior to that, but
Which is why we need with
we were
you.
planning on keeping it for a minimum of 3 years.
That's the first I've heard that.
Okay, well,
Yeah, so that's why we need to talk with you
right.
over all of this and just
Yeah,
start
that,
over.
yeah.
Just start over.
Mhm.
So we should do that. Okay, and then, anything else? So we had a meeting on Monday or Tuesday? Monday? Monday, what did we meet? Monday? Barry, Chad, Charlie, I, Lana, and went through the road list again, because I sent out an email to the DOT, asking them how firm they were on the 2031 road, DOT, because I said, 3 years apart, you're killing me. And they actually came back and said, yeah, we'd really like to move that. So they preferred any of the next 3 years. So they were fine moving it out. So after going through our list, which I'll update it, send it to the DPW, you guys can approve it, this will be the one that's gonna be going on the website for people to know. So what we discussed then is 2026, we were gonna do mill and overlay on, why do I have North Monroe on there?
North Van Buren.
Oh, Jesus, I can't read my own handwriting, put glasses on.
Yeah. We
At all times,
decided
even though I got contacts.
to move that, or keep that at 26.
And, yeah, so 2027, we're gonna do South Van Buren, which is a huge project. That's got a lot going on, so that'll take a little bit to go through. 2028, obviously, is the 89 project. 29, Maple. 2033 is where we're putting out the DOT. And that'll be.
On
for-
19.
On 19,
Yeah.
DOT on 19. So then I brought up to them, I said, of all the roads that we have, that's actually not our worst road, with the exception of that stretch in front of Quick Trip. And I said, that should get looked at. Got somebody out right away, Jefferson County's already on it.
Well, they can do a mill and overlay on it and just kind of
I
hold it
think that's
together
like-
for a few years.
Well, but if they're gonna do it, they're just gonna do that section of a repair.
Right,
They're not
yeah.
doing the whole thing.
No, right.
Because we don't wanna keep kicking the can down the road, because it's only just gonna keep,
No, I meant put a significant patch in that area.
That's what they're doing.
That's, yeah.
That's exactly what they're doing.
So 89 is from
89
bridge to city limits?
Correct, which is a big
And
chunk.
then
of the
19
whole
is
thing.
just quick
Quick
trip
trip.
to
Portland,
Portland?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
which doesn't need that much work right now, and that's not hurting any of our other street projects or any of that
I
stuff.
just didn't remember if 19 was from the bridge or 89 was from the bridge.
19.
Right.
I'm sorry, 89. They're both the same road though. They're-
No, that's why, I was,
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's probably why they wanted to try and keep them a little closer together.
Sure.
Because they share the same stretch, but that road has just got awful, so that has to happen. So we'll get this road up, I'll get confirmation from the DOT, I'll get this sent to the DPW next meeting. You guys can mull it over, and then we'll just have hopefully a good working document that maybe won't change in
Would
the
be
next
nice
couple of
to
years.
layer that in with the Ellers
That helps.
spreadsheet that
Correct.
we have, so we can kind of update.
Yep,
I can update.
doesn't
on
he
our
owe us
end.
an update?
that's what's happening in May.
Yeah,
Okay,
So that's why we had this meeting.
sure.
yeah, and
No.
I don't know if they're gonna update what that new change, but I can go into the spreadsheet and change
Yep.
that, so you guys can have that part. There's might be the old, because I've changed it so many times,
That'll just give us a more
yeah,
complete look.
I'll change it for
Better
you guys,
Bible.
and then
Right.
it'll be
Yep,
good.
no, agreed.
So that is coming.
Okay?
Anything else?
All right, we'll move to adjourn.
Cool, second.
I have a motion from Wired, second by Cool to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you, Tim, for your many years on this committee.
Yes.
The hard work that you've done.
You're not gonna quite leave us.
No, but
Nope.
You can bend
A lot of-
Jody's ear.
might have to call you in for a switch hitter every once in a while.
Can the
You
mayor
go
make
back
that
on memory banks for,
I intend
A
to
four-person
attend a
committee.
lot of the meetings.
yeah.
for a while?
For
It's helpful.
temporary period.
No, probably not, because that would be a whole ordinance change and stuff, because right now it's set up as 3.
Kind of what I thought.
Go.
No, but he could be a mentor.
Oh, 100%,
Oh, yeah.
that's exactly
We've
what I
talked
want.
about that.
Yeah. that we-
Mayor and I've already talked about that.
It's nice to have the experience, the guidance.
And you normally don't get that luxury. People
No,
either just
correct.
leave or, that's part of the reason why you kind of change committees around a little bit, when you know people aren't gonna be here forever, that you got the legacy info along with teaching some new people.
Okay.
That's where,
I'm more than welcome. You could come
Hello.
and meet us.
On a different
Oh,
topic,
yeah, yeah.
on that sidewalk,
Sorry.
if we're not gonna do it. I wanna put in
I don't think that changed.
Yeah, that didn't change anything.
Because the balance was already like negative, so it didn't like reflect anything technically.
Technically, yeah, I'll forward it on to you.
I think I,
Oh, you do.
I just didn't want to reprint it.
Yeah, no, I don't,
I
can't think of anything.
I just save it in a folder. No, I don't think, I think everything was sealed up this time, yeah, where that was.
I got minutes from the last, so you were emailing me, I was in California.
I read them.
They told me that I had to stay off my computer.
Well, she made up for it when she came back.
Yes, I did. And then I heard her.
Oh.
Now I can't.
That's not from the,
She
that's not from the
cannot
drafts,
play
is it?
with- She cannot play with any machinery at all.
That's true. Really got
It's gotta mess with the typing, huh?
That's a good point.
So God only knows what.
You should rest this weekend.
Well, that's, you should rest.
Really,
So that's
the
what.
phone won't be dinging all the time.
The fact that I had my headphones in my ear.
Oh, yeah.
That stuck in my ear, I almost went to the ER, I couldn't get it out.
What?
Yeah. Oh. Wants to look for.
Could we have a different name for it?
That's,
He literally was more blind than I am. Got the tweezers in my ear and I'm like, don't shove it in, brother, don't shove it in.
At the airport.
At the airport. At the airport.
And my question was, did anybody take a picture?
Not that I'm aware of, unfortunately.
Oh, I really wanted a picture of that.
You should really just, you should start tonight right at like 8, and then just have a little siesta until Monday.
I might need one.
You can have wine, you can have all the wine you want.
Friday.
Yeah, you go ahead and sip
Yeah,
away.
you can drink, girl.
Oh, I do.
You also didn't like a lot of sun until you went on vacation.
Yeah,
But I'm like,
I like all weather.
ocean is
I will
good.
say, I like all weather.
The swimming is good. Pools are good.
Absolutely nothing for a week.
Very nice.
Sitting in the pool.
Frozen drinks, they're good.
the chair's too round, you gotta push it off.
Have a little bit too much to eat.
I saw it. I'm not sure where. Which one?
We can always change it later, yeah.
Yes, we should check with mine, my phone has got to do with the DNA.
You're out. 100%.
Ready? All right, we are on, no, that's it. We will cut. Just kidding, just kidding. We're live. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are. Roll call, please.
Cummings here.
Austin Cool here.
Charles Cole here.
Griffin here.
Thomas here.
We're here.
All here. This is the annual organizational meeting to start off with. It says discussion of organizational opportunities, not really sure what that is. So we're just gonna move on. Resolution 2025-12, this is appointing the newspaper, depositories, and the auditors, which nothing has changed other than the paper's called the Leader Independent now.
Thomas, make a motion to approve resolution 2025-12.
Griffin, a second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Griffin to approve resolution 2025-12. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Election of council president, this is what we do every year at this time. Basically, you make a nomination, a second. I ask 3 times if there's any new nominations. If there is not, the person nominated, if they accept it, then we vote on it and we move on. So at this point, I will take nominations for council president.
Cummings will make a nomination for Charlie Cool for president.
Nomination by Cummings for Charlie Cool. Do I have a second?
I will second that.
Wyatt will second. Do I have any other nominations? number 2. Number 3, do I have any other nominations? Closing nominations. Charlie, will you accept the position of council president?
I will.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion carried. Congratulations. And thank you, Tim, for being council president for all these years.
Yes.
You did a wonderful job. Charlie's got big shoes to fill.
Certainly do.
All right, resolution 2025-21. These are the new appointments. Richard obviously came back for another 4 years. So a couple of different changes. Really the only big changes were Parks Commission. We had Cool taking over for Wyatt, Austin Cool. Jamie Parker is new. Al Kegler, who has served on the commission for many, many years. Thank you very much, Al. His term was up. Jamie Parker, she's a Waterlooian who left and came back, so she is now on the board officially. And the Water and Light council representative is Richard. Then on your finance, public works, the main 3 standing committees, finance, Charlie is now the chair with Wyatt and Hosley being added. Tim has very generously accepted to kind of be a mentor. That is one thing that we've never really had here, the pleasure of people knowing they're not going to be running again and being able to help other people and mentor them and help them through. So it is a good thing to move people around on the committee sometimes because we're not all here forever. So Jody is on finance now, public health and safety, Cummings, it's the same group. Cummings will now be the chair. This will be her first time chairing a meeting. And public works does remain the same with Wyatt being the chair. So all of these just simply require approval or changes, whatever your preference is. And note, I do talk to people before I do this.
Ted must make a motion to approve resolution 2025-21, approving the council confirmation of the mayoral appointments.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve resolution 2025-21. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. That now adjourns the annual meeting. Now we're going to the regular meeting. Minutes approval of April 3rd. Are there any additions or corrections? I was not here.
Cummings will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 3rd.
Austin Cool, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Austin Cool to approve the meeting minutes of April 3rd. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Presentation, audits, presentation reports by Baker Tilly. This is what we always do at this time of year as well. I do have it on the screen in case anybody wants to follow along at home. And take it away.
Well, thanks for having us. I'm Justin Hoagland. I'm a principal at Baker Tilly. I also have Taylor with me tonight. She's a senior associate with Baker Tilly. And so we work on the city side of your audit. Right? We have a separate group that, their expertise is utilities, so they do your utility side. But we will speak on that a little bit tonight as well. And so we did issue your 2024 statements back on April 4th. And so as the mayor said, at this time, we then like to come and kind of give a brief presentation going over some of the financial highlights, as well as looking at the different reports that we issue. So, also wanted to thank Lana, Jean, and the mayor certainly helps too, with making the audit go smooth as it has in years past. So, this is, one of the top 5, I guess, audits that we issue as far as how soon we issue it. April 4th is pretty early, and that wouldn't be possible without kind of everything being in line and ready to go. So thank you again. So first, wanted to go over the reports that we issue. So first one I wanted to go over looks like this. It's called the Reporting and Insights from the 2024 Audit. So this document has a lot of different information in it. It has Taylor and I's contact information if you ever need to get a hold of us. It has any internal control deficiencies that we note during the audit, any recommendations that we have, as well as a bunch of other kind of communication that we are required to give those charged with governance, the council. So I encourage all members to read that report. Next is, the financial statements themselves. The one item I always like to point out in here is our opinion. So that's on pages 1 through 3. And so we do issue an unmodified or a clean opinion on your financial statements. That's the highest level of assurance that we can offer. And that has been the same as probably the last decades, right? So all good there.
Just want to stop you just for
Yep.
literally 1 second. Did every council member get that email with all of these documents? So usually what we do in this meeting is give everybody the highlights, but that email that we have, just share it with all the council members.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Thank you. That way you know because you're looking in your packets and like you don't have.
Yeah,
these.
yeah,
These
yeah,
are
looks like
massive. Okay, yeah, you don't want to print them. Okay, I did.
More
Okay.
trees.
More trees. That's why I want to reprint them, if the drafts are good. All right, sorry, I just wanted to.
No, all good. Yeah, stop me at any
Good.
point, or Taylor, if you have questions.
I'll read through that.
Okay. So next, Taylor's going to go over some of the kind of financial highlights from the city side of things this year, which is on the screen.
Yeah, and I'll scroll along if you want to chat as we go here.
For sure. I can tell you when you can go to the next
Thank you.
one. So overall, when assessing the financial health of any municipality, we always like to start with the general fund, as this is the main operating fund of the city and where most of the day-to-day transactions or routine transactions kind of run through. More specifically, we like to analyze fund balance or equity levels, as seen on the screen here. You can see, or this shows a good comparison of 2024 fund balance levels compared to 23. And as you can see, it's split out into various different buckets or types of fund balance. The first one at the bottom being non-spendable fund balance. This represents funds at year end that are not in a spendable form. In the city's case, it's actually entirely made up of prepaid expenses or funds that have already been spent on 2025 services. The city doesn't have any restricted or committed, so moving to the assigned fund balance, this represents funds that have been assigned for various reasons by council. Items may include future capital projects or equipment purchases. Overall, a more detailed listing of this balance can be found on page 45 of your financial statements. And then what's remaining is your unassigned fund balance. This balance is made up of funds that can really be spent or not spent at the city's discretion at really any point. And as you can see, this increased about $300,000 since last year, which is overall great to see. Then moving to the summarized income statement here at the center. This summarizes the net income of the general fund this year, which is about $306,000, as you can see, which then compares to your budgeted revenues and expenses. Overall, the city did about $227,000 better than budget for revenues and $113,000 better than budget for expense. Again, a more detailed listing of what makes up this variance can be found on page 45 of your financial statements. Or 60 to 63, budget to actual.
60 to 63.
My bad. But overall, the main driver of this variance for revenues was investment income. It was about $143,000 over budget, which is attributable to good market conditions and overall good interest rates on your investments. And then the main drive.
It didn't change.
Yeah.
Yes.
She
It's
moved
helped.
it.
It's helped.
Good job.
Thanks, Taylor.
And then the main driver of the expenditures being better than budget was primarily due to a significant under budget in police wages,
Yeah.
as there was quite a bit of open positions throughout the year. And then I'll move on to page 2, where this chart again is focusing on general funds fund balance, more specifically on that unrestricted available fund balance. This ratio here focuses on dividing, or takes unrestricted fund balance and divides by the total funds expenditures for the year. Essentially, it's saying if the city were to take on no additional revenues, how long could it keep covering its expenses by just using that fund balance that's available? For '24, this calculated out to 86.6%, ultimately saying the city could cover its bills for almost 11 months using just that available fund balance in the general fund. On this chart then, the city is represented by like that orange red-ish line, and that while those blue dots are average municipalities similar to your size in Wisconsin, and overall you can see the city has consistently been above this average, which signaling a strong financial position. And on to page 3. Another area we always like to look at when determining financial health is debt of a municipality. Again, on this chart here, identified with the black line is the city's statutory general obligation debt limit. Oh, one more.
I know, I'm trying to get it more on the screen.
Yeah, good.
Good. Probably the best I can do. Unless you want to see more on the bottom.
I don't think
That's good?
Yep.
There you go.
So black line is the statutory debt limit of the city, or 5% of the city's equalized value. Meanwhile, the orange line is your actual debt outstanding as of year end. Based off of this, at year end, the city had used up about 21% of its debt capacity, which has been decreasing over the last few years as the city hasn't really taken out any additional GO debt. Again, this is slightly below the average for municipalities your size, but it's ultimately a good thing as it does give you future capacity to take out debt if need be.
Which we need. You'll see it next year. We'll get there. Well.
And then the final page of the city side. Again, kind of with some debt. This is just another ratio to calculate debt service to non-capital expenditures. It's essentially saying what percentage of your normal or routine expenditures does the city have to commit to debt obligations? Because whatever is going to pay for these said debt obligations cannot subsequently be used for something else. On the graph, again, the city is the orange-ish red, while the black is other municipalities. You can see that the city calculated out to about 12.9% went to cover debt service out of all expenditures, which again has also been decreasing over the last 5 years as there is not a ton of GO outstanding debt. And with that, Justin can go over the utility side of things.
Yep, so as Taylor said, I'll kind of talk about your, the Waterloo Water and Light Commission next, which is made up of the water, the sewer, and the utility funds. So as you can see at the top of the screen here, we're showing your operating results. The green is your operating revenues, the black is your operating expenses. And so overall, it was a positive result for the year. You can kind of see there's a consistent margin between those two, which is what you want to see. Once those lines start to get a lot closer together, that's when you start to get a little nervous, start to want to think about, do we need to go out for a rate study? Are we not charging sufficient rates to cover our expenses? But right now, it's looking good, and it has the last 5 years that we're showing here. I'm sorry, Mary, I'm gonna have you go to the next page too, and have you bounce back and forth a little bit. So this next page is essentially rolls up into that graph we were just looking at, right? This is gonna break it down between the electric, water, and sewer. So starting at the top here, your electric utility results. Again, green, operating revenues. Black is your operating expenses. The operating revenues did increase a little bit from last year, and that's because there was a rate increase for the electric side. Below that, we have your water utility results. Again, operating revenues did increase from the prior year. That was due to an increase in the amount of customers that you're providing water for. And then your expenses also increased, however, due to increase in maintenance and administrative costs. If you scroll down a little bit, Mayor will show the sewer utility results. So again, the operating revenues increased from last year due to an increase in usage. And you had a small increase in operating expenses, which again usually follows the revenue. If you're using more, you're probably going to have a little bit more in transmission and distribution charges. So, but again, those all look really good, and overall looks good. If you'll go back to the previous page, please, kind of finish out that page, wherever the heck it is on this. There we go. So under the operating results, we have your unrestricted reserves. So we always like to look at, how many months of cash on hand do you have? Kind of a similar ratio to what Taylor was talking about previously in the general fund, those unrestricted reserves. So at the end of 2024, you have that about 4 months of cash on hand in this fund. We usually like to see at least 2 months, so you are above that kind of standard. It did increase a good amount from last year. Last year was 2.39, so again, you're moving in the right direction there. Below that, we have your debt coverage. So you do have some utility debt outstanding that has a debt coverage ratio requirement. That requirement, you can see kind of here, it's 1.25. Essentially, the people that hold your debt want to make sure you're going to have at least 1.25 times the next debt service payment in revenue. And if you don't hit that, there's certain consequences that can happen, right? They could call the debt possibly or something like that. So, however, the last 5 years here, you have met that debt coverage ratio by a good amount. So if you just scroll down one more little bit here, this investment in capital. So, right, these are very capital intensive funds. Your water, sewer, and electric, right? You have wastewater treatment plant, water mains, meters, again, very capital intensive. So we always like to look at, what percentage of that capital assets are still have associated with debt, right? You still have debt to pay off associated with them. And the equity piece is what's kind of owned free and clear. And so 36% of those assets, again, are equity, 64% you still have debt associated with them. And I would say that's right about, kind of the industry expectation for kind of the age of your current wastewater treatment plant and everything. So again, nothing concerning there. So overall, healthy position both on the city side as well as your utilities. Any questions for us?
Anyone have anything we need to revisit or understand or question?
I will make sure that everybody gets on Monday the full report, so whatever page numbers you guys can reference on that.
Does this get presented to the utility commission as well, or?
It usually does. It's my understanding it has not yet this year, and they didn't request a presentation yet this year. So I don't.
They should.
Yeah, I would say normally Jody,
Do you do that or something?
no, Jody, the
does?
utility partner, would do that. But I think,
Usually we get copies of the utilities too.
the utility statements?
Yes.
I can certainly send that
Yes.
to everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to say right now there is no date set for that.
Do
So.
you do that any particular time?
I believe it's May.
Is it May?
I believe so.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, usually it does, even before us, they do it, but, yep. But I'll send that out.
Yeah, thank you.
We have all the books handed already, I believe they were gonna come in May.
Okay, that's fine.
If you want a copy, I can just give you a copy of the book.
Whatever makes, it can be electronic, it's fine. I've got enough.
We can send it to you electronically too.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Thank you. I usually get it, so I have a little folder. All right, we all good?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. Council, published notices, Jeannie.
Just letting you know that
Oh, yeah?
again, Chad will be the weed commissioner, he will be posting
Thank you.
the weeds and his different sites. And then the board of review. Open book is May 7th from 1 to 3. It's a phone call, it's not in person. It's because we're not doing a big reval or anything, it's just on the phone. And then we will have board of review May 20th at noon. It has to be open for 2 hours regardless of the amount of people. So we'll be here for at least 2 hours that day.
That's why I had that, that was in my packet. So we have that Chad's thing, that's why I had that.
Oh, okay.
I asked, why do I have that?
Okay.
It was in the packet. We are paying, what the heck is the name of it, the admin, Alan. Aren't they going through
Associated Appraisal?
Yes, thank you, Alan, I think still is the
Yeah.
name, yeah.
Yes.
But we signed a contract to make sure that we stay in line, like we did that for like a 3-year thing. So this board review happens, and then are they still looking at things like in August? No, but we're paying $15,000 or something like that every year. I thought we did like a contract.
Well, we spread it out when
Yeah.
they did their reval, but that doesn't mean they're gonna do it every year. We spread out the payment for those years.
But I thought they were reviewing things just to make sure we stay in compliance.
Well, they will, just like they did before, but that doesn't guarantee it. Depends on what the market does.
Well, right.
So, but we do it typically in May unless it's a need for a reval. So I don't know what percentage we're at yet because he has not done he just gave me a sample today and they're sending out the letters. I think it was today. And then I'll be able to look at the whole roll so we can see where the
I just wasn't
changes
sure
are.
what conversations have been going on. I really haven't heard a lot since everything kind of blew up, where like a lot of municipalities did exactly what we did. Some Prairie does it every 2 years, regardless. They do a full reval every 2 years, or whatever, however theirs adjusts, but they do it every 2 years. And I knew we were paying on that, so I just wasn't sure if we was keeping an eye on that again.
I think we'll be in the 90s still, but I will let you know. I'll let everybody know as soon as I get to see the numbers.
You have to say compliance is 90 to 100, right? Or
To
the
110.
percentage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that is all I needed. Thank you. Citizen input, seeing none. Council meeting since, sorry, since the last council meeting, CBA?
Yeah, we had a pretty quick meeting. The biggest thing that we approved was moving the meetings to every other month instead of monthly.
And then you'll look at that if you feel it's a
Correct.
quarterly thing. It's kind of like the planning commission, it's really based on need, not necessarily necessity. So it is quarter, or every other month.
Every other month, yeah,
Because-
unless something pops up.
Correct, and it's gonna coincide with the parks as well, and that should have been in your org thing too. Well, I had it in there, it's out, but I put in there when they all were, but that's fine. Okay, sounds good, thank you. Finance, Tim's last one?
It's Charlie's now.
No, still.
No, you still have the meeting. Nice try, nice try.
I was carried
I knew
away.
he was gonna try.
Do that.
Okay, everything we did comes before the council.
See how we do that one?
That was easy.
All right, consent agenda items are in your packet. Are there any questions, additions, anything you want to discuss? Laura's doing some pretty hefty meeting minutes these days, so I know we got a lot going on at the cable.
Austin will make a motion to approve consent agenda items.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Austin Cool, second by Cummings to approve the consent agenda items. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. New business, seeing none. Recommendations, committee, commissions, and boards. Tim, finance.
And Thomas make a motion to approve March 2025 financial statements payroll in the amount of $94,351.17. General disbursements in the amount of $196,643.73. And the clerk treasurer's report, which is on file in the clerk's office.
Cummings will second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Cummings to approve financial reports as stated. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Poole, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Weird, yes.
Motion carried. All right, resolution 2025-22, fire department is wanting to apply for a DNR grant to update some old equipment, no PPE, we've just removed that. So the resolution does state that in there, but that's all right. It is for a 50% match. Chief, do you have anything you want to say about it?
The only thing that we'll add will be, we will pay it all up front. We will get reimbursed the 50% from the DNR after we get the product.
What are you looking for?
It'll be drip torches, some pump cans, update to the hoses, high suction hoses, and some other loose equipment, wrenches, and so on and so forth for DNR activities. Wild firefighting.
Yeah, got it. Any questions?
Cummings will make the motion to approve resolution 2025-22.
Austin Cool, second.
Motion by Cummings, second by Austin Cool to approve 2025-22. This will be coming out of their own budget areas, nothing extra on that, as they stated. Roll call.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Poole, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Weird, yes.
Motion carried. Resolution 2025-18, this is actually from the last meeting. Just had a little bit more discussion on Hendricks Street, kind of filling people in of what was going on, the changes that occurred over the 5-year span of coming up with this project. So we really are in line. It isn't as terrible as one thought. But one of the questions we still had was regarding just some of the costs. So DPW and the utilities, we met on Monday, they've already started taking down trees, so we're gonna save roughly 20,000-ish doing that ourselves. We can do that. So within any bid project, you have 10% that you can tweak with without having to rebid it. But if you go over or under that, you have to rebid the whole project. So looking through everything and just confirming with what the utilities thought the cost would be, what we thought the cost would be, it actually came in good. Some of the numbers that were in your packet was actually a document from the utilities when they sent this into the USDA. So don't be confused by the 2022 numbers. That was an estimate back then, which things have kind of changed on and off throughout the time. But anyway, confirming with the utilities and what we went through and Chad confirmed it with those projects, we're really in line. This thing changed a few different times. We added a few different things. About the only thing we could do is a sidewalk illumination, which is up on your screen, which is in front of the DPW building. This little section going down Hendricks, down to this intersection by Bishop Circle. And that would be roughly, what did you say, 15,000, Chad?
Yeah.
To remove that. So we could just do, which I personally thought we only needed it on one side, but that's not, I'm not the deciding factor on this. So where Hendricks Street starts here on East Madison Street, goes all the way down, this is all the residential side here, down to Bishop Circle. No matter what, the sidewalk has to cross to go on the west side, and it will continue through the park or to the park bridge, all on city property, just due to the elevations and DNR and wetlands and all this stuff we have to avoid over here. The road that's gonna go into 333 Portland Road is gonna be somewhere in this area. no sidewalks are gonna be here. So no matter what, if we do it on both sides or just this one side, people still have to cross the street from the east side to get over here, period. So it's totally up to you. We can leave it alone as it is, or take that short section out. And if anybody else wants to talk about it, you all go right ahead. Or you can approve it as it is and don't worry about it. Whatever you want to do. I just know there was some discussion at the last meeting, so I just wanted to make sure everything is out there. Questions are answered. This is a big project. People will be thrilled. We have sidewalks and they'll still walk in the road.
Oh, yeah.
So finance, this was on your agenda. Do as you wish.
Would we gain any road width if we eliminated the sidewalk on the west side?
No,
No.
no, the road width will be,
Still 66.
Curb and gutter stage.
Curb and gutter stays,
the
okay.
road width, the way it is currently right now at the first block of Hendricks Street and East Madison Street, that width will carry all the way through
Yeah.
to Fireman's Park. To the, oh, not the Fireman's Park, but
To the bridge.
to the bridge crossing.
I am for keeping sidewalk on both sides for safety. That is one of the main entrances into the park. When there are 4th of July activities, baseball games, etc., you see many people walking on the street, going in and out of the park. Many kids are walking. I'm not going to disagree that they may use the street.
Oh, yeah.
But if we don't have sidewalk, it's not available to them. So I am for keeping it.
Yeah, is there gonna be parking on both sides?
Do we have parking there now?
Currently, there's,
No parking?
that'll be something we have to address once the road is finished. 'Cause
Say that one more time?
we'll have to adjust that part once the road is finished, whether we want to park on both sides or.
Yeah, there's only parking in that first block. I don't think,
Will there be enough room?
I don't
for
know if we
parking at least
eliminated
on the
parking.
one? We don't need it on the other side, it should just be on the one side, the trailer court.
So both sides going in the park, there is no parking
Okay,
from Bishop to the north.
correct.
Currently, right now, all the residents on Hendricks Street have adequate room in their driveways to park all their vehicles. Once in a while, somebody will have a neighbor over and they'll park either side of the road right now, and it doesn't matter, the road's wide enough, so.
So
The
currently,
sidewalk won't have any issue with parking.
What would the setback be for the sidewalk from the curb to the
4
sidewalk?
feet.
we're still gonna have terrain or the terrace.
4-foot tree terrace and a 4-foot sidewalk.
And possibly in front of the trailer court, or at least from East Madison to Bishop, parking on one side?
I would assume we'd probably be able to let them park on both sides of the street on Hendricks to Bishop, and then we'll have to look. I mean, it's, with
You
sidewalk
determine
going in the
that when we
park, we
get that.
probably have no parking on the west side with the sidewalk on there, just for the sake of people jutting on the traffic with the sidewalk there. I would assume we would just do one side, no parking going north into the park.
We'll look at that, you might wanna just do it in the first block to
Maybe
Mill, or
it's
to
all-
Cleveland, and then,
Yeah,
Yeah,
once the road
okay.
is done, we'll address that.
okay. Anything else you wanna ask about? Any other questions?
Thomas, make a motion to approve resolution 2025-18, accepting the bid from Donner Inc. for Hendricks Street Reconstruction and DPW parking lot.
Griffin, second.
Motion by Thomas, second by Griffin, to approve resolution 2025-18. Any other questions? Roll call. What? Go ahead.
As planned.
As planned.
That's fine. Thank you.
Cummings, yes.
Austin Cool, yes.
Charles Cole, yes.
Griffin, yes.
Thomas, yes.
Wired, yes.
Motion carried. Future agenda items and announcements. Anyone have anything else going on? Egg hunt is Saturday. Dave's not going to tell you that. Hunt your egg Saturday. Don't forget them, don't get anything.
And, oh, it already passed, never mind, might as well say it. The library was putting on like an egg hunt
Yeah.
that they could, you could purchase eggs to be placed
Oh,
in your yard.
is done now.
It was due yesterday.
Is that through the business association too? They did it last year?
I believe so,
Good.
yeah. So I definitely did it,
All right, good job.
yeah.
All right,
Who makes motion to adjourn?
I'll second second.
the Cools, Austin, Charlie. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.